Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Jefferson Scott with What's Happening in Birmingham. Today I've got the honor and pleasure of with attorney Fred Bolling. He's running for Jefferson County Circuit Court Judge, Place 13 on the March 5th, 2024 Democrat ballot. Attorney Bolling, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good, but always good to see you.
Great. Tell the viewers a quick little bio before we start.
Oh, I tell you what, my name is Fred Bolling. I am born and raised right here in Birmingham, Alabama in Jefferson County. My early years grew up over near Legion Field in College Hills neighborhood. I am the son of John and Lenora. Unfortunately, I lost my mom in October, but I am still the son of John and Lenora Bolling. I attended Our Lady of Fatima Elementary School growing up, went on to John Carroll High School, and after that I attended Auburn University and Howard University School of Law. I finished Howard University School of Law in 1999. After that, I came back home, and I've been a practicing attorney here in the state of Alabama since that time. While at Howard, actually, I was a special appointed student attorney. I had a special license as a student in order to represent individuals prior to even graduating with my JD. Since that time of moving back here, I am now a proud husband to the most beautiful Dr. Brandy Rudolph Bolling. I have 3 children. I have Faith, age 5. That's my baby girl. I have Frankie Joe. That's he's probably got my personality. Okay. He's 7. And then there's Frederick John Rodney, who's my little quarterback, age 9. I'm also a member of Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church, and as some folks asked me once, and I said, well, we're a blended family. They said, what do you mean blended? I've seen your wife, y'all are both black. Okay. I was like, yeah, but we're Catholic, as they say. So my wife actually grew up in the Baptist faith, as did most of my family up until a point. I'm not really sure how we became Catholic, but I attended Our Lady of Fatima and attended Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church, but we also do 2 Sundays there, and then we do 2 Sundays at Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church. And of course, during campaign season, we probably do 1 Sunday at every other church we can find. I'm also a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Root to the Good Brothers. Your brother's a good brother. Oh,
yeah. What's your last name?
Oh, man, I'll keep that. I'm Al. I'm O-W-L, and someone said an old wise Al, but truth be told, at the time that I pledged here, I actually was about, what did you say, about 400 pounds? Okay. And so the OWL was not really old wise owl. It was actually old way level. So. Oh, wow. Nobody else really knows that. So y'all are getting a true exclusive today.
Oh, wow. So why are you running for judge?
I am running for judge. I'm running for judge to serve my community. I know that seems cliche sometimes to say, well, everybody say they want to serve. But I see judges as being the primary protectors of the community. Police officers carry, protect, and serve on the side of the car, and they do an excellent job of doing that. I have a brother, Christopher Bolling, who just retired from Birmingham Police after about 22 years or so, and he's now with UAB's police department. So they do protect and serve in the role and capacity that they do. But when you look at the laws and who are the gatekeepers to make sure that the laws are faithfully executed and adhered to, is those judges, and especially those front-level trial judges. And so that's why I want to serve. I want to be the person that sits and fairly judges the community in the issues and conflicts they have, to make sure that each and every person, regardless and irrespective of who they are, where they come from, that they have their rights protected, at least in my courtroom, if nowhere else.
So what type of cases will you be hearing in Place 13? So
in Place 13, it's a circuit civil seat. One of the easiest ways I can explain about what circuit civil is explain what it's not. Okay. So circuit civil, first of all, circuit courts are your general jurisdiction trial courts in the state of Alabama. Okay. That means they are the primary trial courts. They share concurrent jurisdiction, which means that the case can equally start in the circuit court as it could in district court. But it's just that in circuit court, if a matter is more than $20,000, then district court cannot hear it.
Okay.
I can hear cases lower than $20,000, but district court cannot hear cases higher than $20,000. So there's a monetary limit. And I discuss a monetary limit because place 13 is circuit civil. And so if you take away criminal matters, if you take away domestic relations, which is divorce and the ramifications of divorce, and if you take away the matters that I handled in family court, i.e. paternity and juvenile matters, everything else is likely to come before that circuit civil seat.
Okay.
And in fact, some of those disputes in those other courts, like some of your special limited jurisdiction courts like probate and municipal, those matters may also come before this court as well, because district court, which can hear matters under $20,000, you have an automatic right to appeal within 14 days. Municipal court, if you don't like the judgment, you have an automatic right to appeal within 14 days. And if probate, if some of those issues cannot be resolved or someone contested, it gets contested to the circuit civil court. So circuit civil has a wide breadth of what it hears. And it's important that someone that's seeking that seat has a wide knowledge base and practice base and experience base, and that is something I have.
Okay, so I'm glad you talked about that. How has your experience prepared you for this?
Well, and I'll tell you, my experience, when I say wide and varied, I have not limited my practice to any particular one area.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with having a practice that's based primarily in family. There's nothing wrong with a practice. It can be quite lucrative to a practice that's based primarily in debtor's court or bankruptcy or strictly criminal. All that's fine. But in circuit civil, it needs to be varied because it encompasses everything that's not that stuff.
Okay.
And so when I first started practicing, I did a clerkship for 2 years up in D.C. It was a juvenile drug court, and we handled some matters and did some civil matters in addition to that juvenile drug court. When I moved back, I moved originally to Alabama, to Perry County.
Okay.
I have a friend who now, Robert Turner Jr., who's now the district attorney for the 4th Judicial Circuit that covers Selma and Perry County, that whole area. He and I went to school together at Howard, and he said, well, when you come back home, come on down here to the country with me and my dad.
Okay.
So I went down there, and we did land disputes. We did anything that you could think of, car accidents. We did disputes between municipalities, school board related matters, bankruptcies, family, and all the rest of this stuff I'm just talking about. And then after about 2 years or so of doing that, I had an opportunity to come back home with the law firm of Thomas Means Gillison C. And when I originally came back, I came back as a contract attorney, wherein I was assigned to a case. It was one case initially, and it was about 40 to 50 plaintiffs who had sued the Alabama Department of Youth Services. And our firm was tasked with representing the executive director for the state as well as the department itself. That was complex litigation, wherein I had to quickly find my feet in going toe-to-toe with some of the most respected and largest law firms in the area. And so we did that during that time with Thomas Means Gillison C. up until about 2001 to 2012. I practiced there, and we represented Southwest Athletic Conference, represented Alabama State University, represented the city of Birmingham in various cases, different county, I think Montgomery County was one that we represented. It was a wide variety of a lot of different matters.
Okay.
That firm, we also participated in personal injury and plaintiff's work. So we were a hybrid firm, and one of few that actually did defense work and plaintiff's work.
Okay.
One of the other things we did a lot of was represent school boards. And a lot of those things I maintain to this day. I still have Choctaw County. I represented Bessemer City Schools. I've represented Birmingham Waterworks. I represented, and I'll stop because you know I can keep going. But the bottom line is that there's not much that I have not seen and that I'm not prepared to deal with and handle. That DYS case, by the way, is say, well, how much could one case consume? Well, that one case would consume 20 or so lawyers almost daily for the better part of 10 years. So it was a huge undertaking in learning how to do case management and that sort of thing as well. So my experience has prepared me quite well from a professional side. Now, beyond the X's and O's of law, which that part, honestly, is second nature to me. During that same period of time, I've also been a community servant in almost any and every need you could think of. If the community called asking me to assist, I have. And I think that has prepared me as much as anything to serve in this seat, because I truly do have a appreciation and a love for the folks in Jefferson County. And I've demonstrated that over my last 20 plus years of practicing law, as well as even before. But particularly as I've been a practicing attorney, I've probably devoted as much time to serving my community as anything else. And I think that makes me very well qualified for the position.
What community organizations have you been a part of?
Oh my goodness. I currently sit on the scholarship committee for my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And in fact, for all you high school seniors out there, we currently have now going application period for our scholarships for this coming year. So please check into alphaphiqs.com, and there should be a link somewhere on there that allows you to submit your applications for those scholarships. So I serve on the scholarship committee, our various charitable efforts that we do through the fraternity. I've also served as a representative for DHR's Quality Assurance. DHR locally has members of the community that sit and kind of review some of the matters and to try to make sure that DHR is following best practices in that. And so early on in my practice, I had a chance to do that. I've done a lot of work as far as speaking to and mentoring kids in various schools, career fairs, really just too numerous to announce. And my biggest passion is Tennessee Youth Sports Association.
Okay.
I have been serving as a commissioner for that particular group for quite some time, but have been involved in Little League track, baseball, basketball, football. If you look in our garage, I probably have a storehouse of about 40 or 50 football helmets, cleats, shoulder pads, the like, because if someone doesn't have anything to play, I don't turn kids away. We figure out as adults how to work for the people that we serve. And I think as the community, the adults, the responsible leaders in the community, we need to figure out how to serve and get the community what they need. So that's the base of where I am. I'm gonna take it just a little bit of a privilege and say, this week, I don't cry, but I almost came to tears this week because I had a student who reached out to me about 7:30 on the morning of, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day they were doing the National Signing Day. And one of my former players, Jaquil Malone, Tim's Ramsey, is now on a 4-year scholarship to play football at Tuskegee.
That's great.
He asked me to come. I showed up, and as I was standing there, the kid, before he ever even looked back to thank his mom, and his mom was not even upset about it, but before he thought to do that, he looked back and saw me standing, and he pointed to me, and in front of his whole class, he said, "And that man right there, Fred Bolling, my mom signed me up for Tennessee Youth Sports at age 5.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, she was a single mother with 2 boys. And she did not have money at the time. I didn't know this, but she did not have the money at the time to give us all the stuff that we need." And he looked at me and said, "But Coach Fred told her, leave him out here." He said, "I wasn't even very good at the time."
Oh, wow.
But Coach Fred said, "Leave him out here." And now that young man is going on to attend and for free one of our most prestigious universities, the great Tuskegee, the Golden Tigers. So that's why I do what I do, is to see results in the community. So yeah, That's probably a long answer, but
No, that's fine.
I got a long career serving.
Yeah, you do. One of my favorite questions I always like to ask candidates running for office, because when you be in this position, where, as you all see me in the courtroom, you're going to be making a lot of tough decisions that's going to affect people's lives and their welfare. What has been some of the toughest decisions in your life? Or you just say one.
You know, out of all the questions I kind of prepare for and think on, that's one I don't know that I've ever really contemplated. I might say even a decision to step forward again and to make another run for office.
Okay.
And I say that not because it's difficult for me to determine that I was prepared for the position. I say that not because it's difficult for me to understand, appreciate, and be willing to serve. But now that I'm a family man, as I explained the last time I ran, I was not as much of a family man as I am now. We've had an addition to the family, and now those children have grown some more. And so there are activities that they have. We've gotten used to a certain schedule at home. And as my wife looked up and said, she was like, so now we're going to spend money to seek a position where your pay will be about equal to what you make now, but you're working now, you work your schedule whenever you want to work it. And in working the schedule that you want to work, you on any given week may not really have to do more than 2 full days of work. But now you're going to give up that to come and work every day to make sure that you're getting the hundreds of cases that people are relying on you to get out the door. You're going to give up all of that and to make what is, relatively small. And I said this, so that was a tough decision that my wife and I decided and prayed upon. Likewise, there were some other things in making this particular decision around this time, because there are a lot of needs in our community. There's going to be some additional seats, I believe, that are going to come open soon for someone to courageously go down to Montgomery and do some fighting that needs to be fought. So coming to this decision may have been a tough one. And you say, well, in 50 years of life, you really hadn't had any tough decisions. And I'll say this, I can't reflect on any of that was that hard, because in most of my life decisions, before I made them, I went and asked for God's guidance. And so when I didn't ask for God's guidance, it didn't seem like a hard decision. Now, I had some hard results, but it wasn't a hard decision because I was leaning on my own. When I decided to lean on God's, it was some times where it was tougher, but even then it wasn't really hard, because once he sends you on a mission, whether you got to go face Goliath, whether you got to go face Mount Kilimanjaro, whatever you have to face, if you truly know and understand that is the mission he sent you on, you find a peace that really makes it not be so hard. So to answer your question straight, it would probably be the decision to run this race. But to expound on it, that probably wasn't that hard either, because at the end of the day, with God, everything's possible. And with God, you find peace. And so, I hope that answered it.
Oh, yeah, that's an answer. So, you're not the only other candidate in this race. I want you to tell the voters why should they vote for you on March 5th.
Vote for me on March the 5th because, again, I have the most experience. I have the most relevant experience. And those are just simply facts. Having obtained a law license to start practicing in 1998 as a student, having graduated in 1999 with honors from Howard University School of Law, coming home, passing the bar exam on the first time, and getting to work, and having a 25-year career of serving my clients and serving well. Serving not only individual clients, but institutional clients, and serving well. Serving clients and making decisions wherein, even when judges have disagreed with me, I put pen to paper, wrote to the courts of appeals, and had those decisions and overturned and overruled as well. That doesn't mean I've been perfect, but I've given perfect effort in most everything I do. But more importantly, in that same period of time, I've also given that same perfect effort in trying my best to be a good neighbor, to be a good mentor to the youth, and to always remember the words that were said, that service is the rent we pay for our existence here on earth. So see, it wouldn't matter who I was running against. It wouldn't matter who the opponent was. I'm following God's commission for me to go out here and try to serve the people. And I have, and I doubt anyone to put up their record against mine as far as hands-on doing stuff for the people in the community. You know, the best way that we can determine what somebody is likely to do is to look and see what they've already done. And if you look and see what I've done in the community, the lives that I've touched, the people that I've loved, I don't think that anybody would doubt that on March 5th, Jefferson County should be rolling with Bolling, because Bolling has always been rolling with you.
Okay, before we end, I guess two things. Is there any judges growing up and judges here locally you admire?
Absolutely a lot. So I'll say this. Oscar Adams locally would come to mind initially. Oscar Adams being the first black, I believe the first black ever, certainly first black since Reconstruction, to serve on the Alabama Supreme Court. Locally also, when I took the bar in 1999, that was an interesting thing that happened that year, and then for maybe 1 or 2 years after. And that is, my law license actually has the name and signatures of 2 African-American judges.
Oh, wow.
Justice John England out of Tuscaloosa and Justice Ralph Cook. And it was interesting because I actually clerked for Judge Cook one summer that I was home on for the Supreme Court, and I was actually roommates with Judge Cook's son, Ralph Jr., when he came up to Howard. During my clerkship year, Judge Cook asked me to consider being roommates with his son.
Okay.
Me and a couple other third years were supposed to have get a house.
Okay.
But Judge Cook, and he was one of the most wise legal minds that this state has ever seen, and it was widely known and accepted that he was one of the wisest legal minds ever. And so I'm very proud to have known him, to work with him. His daughter actually was my girls vice president at John Carroll when I was student government president. So those 3 gentlemen, but also Houston Brown. Houston Brown has been someone who, I actually saw him last night again at the premiere that Alabama Public Television and all did for Arthur Shores. They did a movie, they did a documentary on Arthur Shores, and the amazing, amazing fearlessness by which these men tackled the trials of their day. A time where I think there was a period of time in 1931 or 37, somewhere in there, Arthur Shores was practicing law and was the only person in the whole state that looked like himself that was practicing. And the legacy of Houston Brown coming behind him and being the pillar of the community that he is. And then finally, of course, if you talk about outside of locally, I am a Howard guy.
Okay.
And so our tradition leads us to always looking at Thurgood Marshall, who was the first and only black male serving on the Supreme Court. And I didn't forget Clarence Thomas, but I intentionally said what I said. But Thurgood Marshall is also someone that I've long admired. And Ketanji Brown, I admire her as well. But if you had my top 5, it would be Oscar Adams, Thurgood Marshall, John England, Ralph Cook, Houston Brown, and I'd have to sneak in Judge Blankenship as well. It's pretty cool, kid.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So if anybody wants to find out more information about your campaign, if they just want a yard sign, Where'd they go?
I will tell you, oh my goodness, everything is elect Frederick Bolling, and if you go onto Facebook, I didn't think about that being the case, but you can pull it up. The campaign to elect Fred Bolling is on Facebook, and every other connection to the website, as well as donation tabs, everything else is found on that, and there will probably be a digital image of that card also attached to this.
Yeah, I'm pulling that.
But and I think my beautiful bride, who's out of the way of the show, of the shot, I think she's coming to bring that information out. And I was correct. But we have a website at www.electfrederick, F-R-E-D-E-R-I-C, Bolling, BOLLING.com. And then on Facebook it's Frederick, F-R-E-D-E-R-I-C, A as an apple, and then Bolling, B-O-L-L-I-N-G, for Circuit Judge, Place 13. And any of my other information you can find on there. Reach out, get active, and be prepared to exercise your rights and vote. I appreciate all the love and support. I'm asking for your vote and your support. Do yourselves a favor and vote for Fred. But regardless of whether you make this right choice here or you make another choice, I would simply say your vote was bought and paid on the backs, blood, and the sweat and the tears of so many. And I just encourage everyone, go get registered, I think the last day to online register is February 19th.
Okay.
But go get registered to vote. Exercise your right to vote. You don't get counted, you don't get considered if when they look at the numbers, you don't vote. So by all means, do yourselves a favor, go vote.
Yes, and one final thing too I want to tell the viewers too is that don't be afraid to reach out to these candidates too. Ask some questions, do your own research. The reason why I always like to start off the interviews and say where you went to school, who your mama, who your daddy, what neighborhood you grew up with. You know, somebody that live in one of those areas too, because when you put people in these positions like we in here, they're going to make a lot of tough decisions for someone you know or even yourself. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to vote March 5th, 2024. For more information, please check out what'shappenedbyrham.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and there's an audio version of this on Apple Podcasts. Thank you all again, and don't forget to vote Tuesday, March the 5th, 2024. And I guess Fred want to end it.
And ask some of the judges that are not running. Ask them. They don't necessarily gonna come out and do commercials, or they're not gonna necessarily be comfortable, especially if they're sitting and not retiring. But if you call them up, you have a relationship with any of the judges that are elected, there's a lot of them in Jefferson County.
Yeah.
They will probably privately tell you, if you have a relationship, who and why they're supporting it. So I want you to make informed decisions. I want the best for Jefferson County. And so I welcome anyone to do your research, judge for yourself, and I think the verdict will be clear.
All right, well, thank you all again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.